Yanetrita Sheta Sen Nukheka Nubraku Nupara Nukheka Nukheka Discover Natarian philosophy through music, through video lectures, and through books by Sabai Dr. Muata Ashby. Peace be with you. Again, welcome to the year 2007 Natarian Conference. We are this year focusing on the teachings of the Temple of Aset and the wisdom of the Goddess Aset. And this will be the third or so lecture in this particular series. The other two lectures have been preparatory. They have been a review of ancient Egyptian Metu-Neter concept and philosophy. And we did a brief overview of the Asarian resurrection myth. And that, mind you, was a very brief overview. The full treatment is in the video presentation and in the book itself, the African Origins Volume 4. Asarian theology. Now, finally, we come to the meat of the program after all those preparatory lectures and the talks that we've been having in between. You familiarize yourself with the goddess, what she represents, and who she is to us, who she was in the past, how she was revered, and how the teaching that she presented was so compelling and enticing and wonderful that it spread throughout the known world, the known ancient world. And it has come to us today. There are organizations that are out there in the world today that purport to follow the teachings of Goddess Aset. You can see a lot of, in the form of ISIS, you can see a lot of that online on the internet. You can see, and especially in major cities and in Europe and other places. There are some open as well as some secret societies. There is and what's making this particular program special now, what we're going into now, is that we're going to be looking at the hieroglyphic texts that were studied, written at the temple and studied by the initiates of the temple, the priests and priestesses. So you can see where the teaching exactly derives from. And this is, now you can see why I'm so much of a proponent of the Goddess Aset, and why she is my own personal tutelary divinity. Why our organization is modeled after this teaching, and why you should be making this. You know that we have several aspects of our tradition that we follow. We have some of the Adonian theology that we do, some of the Theban, the Wazirian theology, and there are several different things. I would say that this is the main one. This is the center, the trunk of the tree, as it were, of the teaching that I have imparted to you in the past and today. Now, I'd like to begin with, before we go forward, I'd like to begin with a brief story. It's an ancient Egyptian story about a man in ancient Egypt, Na-Nefer-Ka-Ptah. He was a spiritual aspirant, but he wasn't fully trained. He had some means. He was part of the royalty, and so he had the capacity to, at a moment's notice, jump up and go do whatever he wanted to do, and then he got in his mind that he wanted to pursue the teachings, but he wanted to, you know how people are now, he wanted to have it all now. He wanted to go and go to whatever temple it was, and go to whatever hieroglyphic text it was, and find the teaching. I'm just giving you an overview. It's not the exact, the whole story. So he went to the tombs. If you go to Egypt, as he was going, the tombs are replete with hieroglyphic texts. He went to temples to see inscriptions, and he was avidly reading everything because he wanted to get the philosophy, and he wanted to get the ultimate teaching. And then in the one hallway, one tomb that he went to, there was an old man, kind of sleeping, sitting in the corner, and he saw him, avidly reading up on the walls, the glyphs. He said, "Ha! What are you doing over there?" So then he says, "What are you talking about? I'm reading the scripture to get the teaching, to get the philosophy." "Oh yeah, that's what you think?" "Yeah, that's of course." So no, you got it all wrong. The teaching is not in the glyphs. I said, "Well, where's the teaching then?" He says, "I can tell you, but you got to pay me." I said, "Okay, I'll pay you." So he tells him that he has to go down a long ways down the Nile and find a special cache, a special treasure, as it were, special. It's buried in the bottom of the Nile River. And it's called the Book of Jehuti. These are special writings. These are but I says, "Okay, I'll go do that." And then through trials and tribulations, he was sailing on the Nile. There's a storm. He lost his wife, lost his child, and through all this, he finds and nevertheless, the book is written in hieroglyphs. It has special teachings that allow one to know the mysteries of above and the mysteries of below, the mysteries of the earth and the mysteries of the heavens. And it had a teaching whereby your word becomes command, and whatever you say goes, whatever you say is done. And the point well, after that, I should finish the story first. Since he attained this knowledge, he wasn't ready for it. He had lost his family. The wisdom that was contained in the scroll that he found finally, he could not use it properly. He did not have proper reverence, and so basically it messed up his life. So there are several implications. It's a kind of long story to get into, but to give you what I'm relating here is that certain preparation is needed, certain purity, certain clarity of understanding. Because the glyphs, as we said before, are merely the stool or the support for the ideas, the teaching. And if you know how to read them, how to understand them, then that wisdom becomes available to you in a proper way. So that you don't end up like this poor soul. Now, of course, you have made a certain journey to get here. You have made the effort to cleanse yourselves, to purify yourselves to some degree, and you will continue in that line. The hieroglyphic text that you will see today contains some of the highest philosophy. But there's no need to worry that you're going to take this and ruin your life or go crazy or something like that, because you're a certain level of your purity to this extent. And also, your ignorance, the ignorance that you do have, some of you, will actually protect you from a misuse. And like I said yesterday, some of these things you're going to have to come back to this lecture and come back to it. And at some point, I assume that this will be published as well, as most of our things are. It'll be in book form as well. But in the meantime, the video will be available. So, without further ado, this text we're going to go through two main sets of texts. Well, they're going to be three texts, three separate texts that we're going to go through. And one relates to the legend or the myth of Ra and Set, which is one of the most important in ancient Kemetan Materian culture. And the scripture that we're working with is today known as the corpus of the Turin Papyri. Corpus means a body, which means a set of texts. And this is one of them. And this is a picture of how the papyri looks in the Turin Museum. This is why they call it the corpus of Turin Papyri. And the legend of Ra and Set can be found in Papyrus of Turin P2 3177 131 to 138. It deals with the relationship of Goddess Set, who's on the right, and the god Ra, who is on the left of your screen. Pointer. Ra and Set. Now, it is told that in the creation, the god Ra emerged from the primeval ocean and sailed the primeval ocean on his boat the boat, he brought forth the divinities of creation. And the divinities they go to compose the creation itself. You have Shu, who is air, Teknu, who is water, Geb, who is earth, Nut, who is sky and the heavens. And then you have 5 other divinities which go to compose the human personality. And so the text begins. Ra and Nether, Nether Keteru, Jesset, Ari, Pet, Ta, Au, Ten, An. This is the chapter of the divinity who created himself, creator of heaven and earth, through the breath of life. It's important for you to know Ra, who is at the head of the boat, is a self-created divinity. He coalesced himself, his conscience, out of the consciousness of the noon. Think about a vast ocean, like the Atlantic Ocean. And then if one set of water in that ocean starts to coalesce itself and to coagulate and to make itself into a form. And that form is actually the center of intelligence of the vast ocean. And that is what Ra is. And he did that for himself. And it's important for you to think about the concept of self-creation. If you have a child, can that child say that he was self-created or she was self-created? No, because you created. You came together with your spouse and produced that offspring. There is no production. Ra is not an offspring. At least in this level of text. Later on we learn something else. But at least in this level we're trying to be instructed on the concept of self-creation. Otherwise, so we're going to say that if we can't say that, then we must say, well, who created Ra? So now we have a god. So then we must have a super god on top of that one. And then who created your super god? A super god. And then we have a super god on top of that one. Ad infinitum. And if we have that kind of understanding ad infinitum, then we do not have an absolute. If we have a self-created divinity, that is an absolute. There is nothing beyond that. And of course, that is what we are shooting for in our spiritual aspiration. And therefore, if we have lesser divinities, like there are many religions who follow, or people who follow primitive religion, they follow lesser divinities. They don't follow a supreme deity. And therefore that is going to be a limited form of practice until they're able to reach beyond that lesser divinity. And in our practice, there are, for each of the divinities that emanate from Ra, there are theurgies, shall we call them. There are theological sciences of spiritual practice by which one can study the divinities, and that study will lead to the ultimate also. And one of those divinities, Aset, is a purveyor, and also Asar is one of the main ones as well. But the other ones also, but these are the main ones. They purvey a teaching that leads one to the ultimate source of all of it. Remember the picture that Sabidat showed with the nether symbol on top and the gods and goddesses on the bottom, like sun rays coming out? You study any one of them and they lead you to the top. But later, we learn something different about Ra, although he's being presented here as the ultimate. But we'll get to that. At Neteru, Remteju, Men, Jeff 2. So he created heaven and earth through breath of life and fire, the gods and goddesses and men and women and cattle and reptiles. Before we go forward, this concept of breath of life, well, I'm not going to go into a lot of details now, but you need to be introduced. The idea, and here we have the symbol here, this means air or breath, which is the Auten, the sail symbol, and here's the arm. So out and out. What it means is that there is some kind of a life inside air. Air is not what brings you life. Like we need to breathe in order to live. But the breath, the air itself is not what sustains your life. So I'm just going to leave it there for right now. So, through this breath of life, heaven and earth were created, as well as the fire, the gods and goddesses, men and women, and cattle and reptiles. So created animals, created the earth, created everything. Pau Suten, Renteju, Neteru, and Kerua. Cattle, reptiles, birds, royal people, ordinary people, gods and goddesses, through the presence one. So it's saying that we're going through the list of things that Ra has done to create the world. And here they're making a distinction between royal people, or people in leadership position in a society, as well as the ordinary people. Fish, birds, of course, who are along the other animals, but also the gods and goddesses. And here, this symbol here, when you have the Neter symbol in 3, remember it's just like the 3 vertical symbols, it means Neter plural. Here, Renteju means people, means men and women. Suten means royalty. And this was done through presence one. And what it means is presence one, which is the one presence of Ra. Now, moving forward in the scripture, we are told that here comes a woman. Look now. Astu Aset Neter and Set Sa. Look now. The goddess Set comes in the form of a woman of knowledge. This symbol here is the key to understanding this particular sentence. First of all, we're told that Aset in the form of a goddess. When you see the symbol of the rearing cobra, this is one of the primary symbols of goddess. It means goddess in general. It means Arat. And this is what we have. Arat Shechem is the serpent power. Serpent power is primarily a female energy that moves along the spine, which is a male divinity, which is Asar. So here we have the name of Aset, remember from your glyph yesterday? The throne chair. And the symbol of the goddess. And now we have anybody remember what the owl means? This is probably one of the most important philosophical glyphs in the philosophical aspect of hieroglyphic text. So,
it means focus.
It's the ankh turned down, the blood of can't remember what was the last word there.
The owl.
Oh,
The owl. What does the owl mean? You have 5 more seconds before we move on.
I mean you?
What is the letter M?
Is the letter M, and what does it mean philosophically?
Transformation. M means transformation.
Sort of, but not really.
Oh, it mean contracted? No,
Means
that,
what?
that's a chick. That's a chick. Okay.
That's a small bird with a rounded tail. That means small or something bad. This is the owl.
I don't know. But
You don't have this. No.
Okay, the owl means as, in the form of, by means of, and it's through. So it sort of means sort of transformation, but it's not quite. It means when something is coming in the form as something. So the goddess is coming in the form of what?
it's
A woman. A woman.
A woman. So we're being told that she's coming in the form of a woman. She's not a goddess at this point. And the reason is because this is alluding to the fact that in memory of the Sun resurrection story that we went over yesterday, recall? How, what, we didn't go over the reason why Asar and Aset were the king and queen of Egypt. And the reason is because when after Ra had created the world, there was a time when Ra was ruling. He was the king. And then after that, then Geb was the king. Well, Shu was the king, then Geb, and then the throne went to Asar. But before that, Ra was king, and people lived for a long time, and they became arrogant. And that upset him. It's a long story, but it upset him. And so he said, well, forget it, I'm going to heaven. And then he asked them, there's another part of the story where he said he sent the Het Heru down to kill them all the bad people. And then he sent Jehuti to come and bring a bag, or that part of the story. And then he sent Asar and Aset down to the earth to guide people. Aset is the goddess of wisdom, so she can impart knowledge and teaching. And then Asar can impart knowledge of religion and worship and agriculture. See, Aset is the goddess who finds things, and she discovers things, how they work, and then Asar puts them into operation. Like for instance, she finds seeds, and then he knows how to grow them. He puts them into agriculture and that kind of thing. So she's the theoretician and he's the engineer. You can think of it that way in a sense also. But here the key, what we're getting at, so we can move on, is that she's coming in the form of a woman. So this is a little bit of what I call it fall from grace. But she's coming. The reason why is that she needs to be able to relate to people. So she needs to be able to come in a human form so that she can feel what people feel and be able to relate to them and commiserate with them and things like that. If what would be if you have a sage that comes to give you teaching, and then you ask them, hey, sage, what do I do in this situation that I have? My spouse is bothering me and I get upset. And then your sage says, do I hit her? Sure, that's an answer, but how's it really going to help you deal with your practical situation? It'd be helpful if your sage has had the experience of having a spouse and has had to get into little tussles with them so that they know how things go and how to resolve issues and help you. And then lead you to the Dua Heteru also, when you come down and when you resolve issues and things. And so you know how you feel and how where you are as a human being and such. So And here's that term we were talking about yesterday also, sa. Remember that? There's another hieroglyphic representation of this as well, but I think we'll get to see it later. But sa means knowledge, but also means understanding. And what this is referring to now, this knowledge that she has, is not the highest knowledge right now. She has come down from her godly position, and now she's involved with the world of time and space. This is what we're getting at. And so she's developed the knowledge of what we call lower mysteries, which are medical sciences, architecture, construction, agriculture, government, warfare, love and procreation, and also one that's not listed here, which is maritime sciences. This is an example of, I believe this is the Smith papyrus, and because the person who found it was named Smith. This is a medical papyrus, a very famous medical papyrus. And the goddess was knowledgeable in the medical sciences. So she's one of the healing divinities. And you saw why yesterday, because in the Everest papyrus, there's an invocation specifically to her for healing. Remember that? So last night. Construction, and one of the big areas of construction were the massive pyramids. Agriculture. Warfare. She does not primarily preside over warfare, but in her prototype form, which is goddess Net. Net is also a goddess of warfare, and she as well has an aspect that is propitiated for victory in war as well. And here is the architecture, specifically thinking of the spiritual architecture, the architecture of the temples and how they're set up and so on. These are the areas that she was versed in. She's also versed in the areas of lovemaking as well. Not in the sense of passion the way Hindu is. She is more in terms of family orientation and lovemaking in a family kind of marital sense. Hedera is more of a passion, a more of a raw, sexual, passionate kind of love-making perspective. And the maritime sciences. This particular picture is in the city of Wazat, where you have the Luxor temple right there at the edge of the Nile. This is the Nile where you can go on boat rides right there. Now, Aset had learned all of these different disciplines. She came in the form as a woman, and she learned all these disciplines of the lower mysteries of the world, the architecture, the maritime sciences, medical sciences, and she became disappointed with those. You can think of it of the kind of reflection that she was having. You grow up as a child, and everything is nice. You're smiling, and everything is good most of the time. But sometimes things are not so good. You get disappointed. You're unhappy because you can't get what you want. But then you grow up, and everything is happy again. You do well in business, and everything's going good, and life is good. And you get married, you have a spouse, and the world is just so wonderful. And if you're lucky, you can keep healthy and keep yourself going. And you grow old, and you have your grandchildren, and they're all smiling, and everything is wonderful. Except when you have to go to the doctor for all the pills that you need to sustain yourself. And then there's death. At the end of all of that. But let us continue reflecting on how wonderful life is. You can construct many things. She's goddess of construction. And you can construct many big buildings and many wonderful structures, and then there's death. And you can enjoy all the sex and the love making and companionship with someone throughout your life. And then there's death.
See where this is going.
And you can have boats, and you can have fun. And then what happens? Yep. And then sometimes things don't go so well in life also. You have war, you have conflict, and more death after that. And if you're lucky, you grow old and infirm. You have your walking stick that you need to survive on. And there are so many people who are happy to grow old, and even though they maybe have one foot in the grave and they can't walk around anymore, they just want to hang on to life dearly. And at the end, it's the same. And if you think of this, you start realizing that all the things that you can do, you can create all your wonderful legacies, you can leave your endowments, create your wonderful monuments, and at the end is death. And you can say, well, if at least if I die, I can leave this for the posterity and for everybody that's coming after. And think of Asar, how everybody remembers him. Think about Jesus. Think about Krishna. Think about Alexander. Everybody thinks of those people. Think of Achilles. He wanted to live on, so that's why he went to the war against Troy. And that's a kind of immortality, isn't it? Isn't it? It doesn't help you any. When your name is remembered, it doesn't help you personally any. You're gone. But you can feel good that you had a good death, right? It doesn't help you. It's nonsense. And even if we were to say that you can create great monuments and great works of art, what's going to happen at the end of time when the sun blows up and this whole world is gone? Are you going to say, okay, well, I'm going to send some things out into a rocket space and so they're going to go beyond the solar system. When the sun blows up, they'll be far away. Okay, what do we say when the galaxy crumbles down to its original? Okay, well, you say we send it beyond the galaxy. Okay, what happens when the universe ends? All the things that you've created that are so monumental and so fantastic. And even in Egypt, there's a saying, an Arabic saying that man fears time, and time fears the pyramids. And even that is inconsequential when we think of the vastness of history and time and the millions of years that pass. And then at the end, when forever comes to an end. Forever only lasts until the end of creation, or the end of time. Eternity goes on beyond that. And there is a part of you, so then she started reflecting, this is a waste of time. And I'm not saying this for you to go and say, chuck the world and forget it is a waste of time. From a practical perspective, yes, you have to go to work and sustain yourself. So we don't go crazy now. Philosophically speaking, all of this is nothing. Anything that you do in the world comes to the same end. It is no different than you're having a dream at night. Whatever you dreamed last night is just as insubstantial as what is going on now, even as we speak. What is happening now is based on your desires, your arya, your desire for having a personalized existence in time and space. You have desired it, you have created it, you have led yourself to this situation. The family you were born into, in this cycle of your life, in this particular incarnation. What will happen 200 years from now, you're working on that now, you're creating it. And the only reality of what is going on now is your existence. So she's reflecting, if all this is impermanent, all this is fleeting, all this is ephemeral, what is the point of it? There must be something that is worthwhile, something that is important, something that is abiding, something that is real. Or I should say something that is true. There's a difference between truth and reality. Reality is what we're experiencing now. This is a practical reality. But it's not truth in the sense of something that is abiding and that really exists. What is within you that is transcendental, that goes beyond the transientness of your body, that is what we're talking about. And to the extent of what your body is, that we care about, is so that you can have a proper vessel to pursue that which is true. So you want to try to make your reality suitable and positive and prosperous enough so you can pursue the higher reality of life. Because if you pursue fulfillment in the world, time, and space, that is a pursuit of what?
An illusion.
Exactly. So Aset now thought, I've amassed all this learning, I should be really pursuing something higher, something real. And the reason I presented the whole tomb picture is that before we just had the idea of the death, but now we have an idea of something else beyond death, something greater, something more wonderful, something more abiding. And so in the next line of the hieroglyphic text we get Jed Kake Ab Sed Pehu Em Bempish Setet Bles. She came as a woman of knowledge, remembering the last line, of words, of power, but words that now repudiate her heart. They repudiate the concepts of humanity. This is what this line is all really talking about. This term here, kake, and this is the symbol of the heart. This is means repudiation. When you see a fish like this, it is often used in words that talk about or speak about something that stinks, something that is abominable, something that is repudiatable, something that is, and of course you know that from the Vedic diet you should know that fish is one of the prohibited foods. Fish is like for low people, for people who live on junk food. That's how this would be considered. It's something. Your fish starts to go bad as soon as the fish dies. When you catch it, it starts to degrade, and you're basically eating poison without understanding. So she starts repudiating the ideas and the philosophy of the millions of men and women. And that philosophy is is that we should live, and we should have more children, and we should be able to have land and get boats and cars and big houses, and we should be able to have more televisions and more pleasure. Because she's recognizing that all these things are, again, ephemeral and illusory, and they're wasting your time, and at the end there is death, which really makes your life meaningless. And what you want to do is to live your life so that it has meaning that transcends the death of the physical body. And so she's repudiating these concepts of men and women. You know, ordinary people, they believe we should have more children, they believe we should, your purpose of life here is to be able to eat and have more food and more pleasure, more money. And how many times have we seen people who have money, who have boats, who have cars, and have lots of pleasure, commit suicide? Or beat each other? And I'm not just talking about the ones you see on those cop shows, or those cheater shows. You know, those crazy people. What's it called? Look at your tabloids and see what's going on with Brad Pitt or what's her name, Halle Berry. So it's very funny. A few years ago, Halle Berry came on 1 year. Throughout the year, she had some boyfriend. He was a basketball player or something like that. It doesn't matter. And she was all smiles and happy, and everything was so wonderful. She was on an Oprah show and everything like that. And then the next year, she came on after this big divorce she had, and this big. And then Oprah was asking her, well, what was going on? You look so well and all that kind of stuff. The Oprah, that was the worst time of my life. She was smiling and carrying on for the cameras and everything, and she said it was the worst time of my life. And that's like a story that's given in the spiritual teachings of these robbers who were going around robbing different places as a gang. So they came across this old building which used to be a temple, so they were thinking, well, you know, they didn't have banks in those days, so people used to keep their stuff in the wall. And so they said, well, let's check out this building, some holes in the wall, see if there's anything useful, any treasure or anything. So they start poking around, and the head robber sticks his hand and he gets stung by a scorpion. He goes, ugh. And then he just covers himself with a piece of it. And he says, is everything okay? Is there anything in that wall? Yeah, I don't know, you can check it out. And then the second one goes in and sticks his hand and he gets stung too. And then he didn't want to look bad in front of the top one, and the ones below him, just said, is everything okay? Just check out the wall and see what it is. And everybody goes getting
Stung.
Interesting sensation, very good.
and everybody gets stung. Because nobody wants to really face the reality of the truth that is a pain of life. Partly they cannot face it because they don't have maturity and the understanding or the sufficient, when I say maturity, I mean sufficient comfort with their personality that it does not need the illusory support of the egoistic concepts of life, that I'm an individual and that I am going to live here and I'm going to enjoy myself and life is meaningful. If you take that away from most people, they'll have a nervous breakdown. They can't take it. If they pick up a book and start saying that, they'll put the book down immediately. They hear somebody start talking like that, they'll go walk away. And they can't walk away, they'll try to kill the person, or try to knock the person unconscious, they'll stop speaking and saying those blasphemous and terrible things. And so consequently, since there's not that many people who are ready to listen to that kind of talk, there's going to be a minority of those who are ready to listen to that kind of talk. And for those who are ready to hear that kind of talk, when it's explained to them, they start saying, I thought that was true, but I wasn't sure, and I was wondering why I was going crazy, trying to be in the world and have fun, but I wasn't really happy, and I wasn't really enjoying myself, but I didn't know why, and I thought I was crazy, and everyone around me was supposedly smiling, like Halle Berry, right? You find out that then they commit suicide. Well, why would they commit suicide? What happened? And this is a kind of a reflection process that is enjoined for initiates to do to lead to a situation of dispassion about the world, but also disillusionment. See, many times there are people who can engage in this kind of reflection partially, and they lead themselves to only a limited understanding, and that's because they only have attained disappointment. Disappointment is like when you go to a store, or let's get a better example. When you're expecting someone to come over and visit you, a friend. Then your friend couldn't come over, so you're disappointed that they couldn't come over because you wanted to have fun with them and talk and this and that. Okay, so you're disappointed. So and you're not happy about it, but maybe we can do it tomorrow. We'll try again. Right? But disillusionment means when you realize that the friend's not coming, and if it did come, it's not going to fulfill me. So I don't need that. You're done with that. Disappointment is you're upset, but you're going to try again later anyway. This illusionment, it means that you are not illusioned, that you're not falling for the illusion of the world anymore. The illusion has been broken.
Disappointment is like a broken appointment that you're going to make.
Broken appointment you're going to remake, right? And so all those thoughts of the millions of men and women on earth, she was repudiating that. Says this is not correct. This is not right. This is not working. This is not useful. So instead, Seta this is millions of men and women. So this symbol here means Seta, which means choosing. And choosing Eda means choosing as to. Seta plus choosing as to or choosing instead. Hehu and Neteru. Set Hehu and Aku Shepsuan. Instead of all this stuff, all this illusion that the men and women of the world are following, she said, why don't I choose instead of that, the millions of women, let me choose the millions of the gods and goddesses. And also the Aku Shepsu, which means the noble people, noble personalities, the wise people, the people who are not into the worldly madness. And these are the honored ancestors, the honored dead, the people who have attained high wisdom and so on. And that's what Shepsu means, Sheps. But she's saying not only Sheps. This is the key here one of the keys to the sentence. She's saying she doesn't want to just follow the Sheps. She wants to follow the Aku Shepsu. She wants to follow the ones who are passed on into spirit form. The enlightened beings, in other words. So she wants to follow, she said, instead of following these people and their stuff, then how about let me instead follow the teachings of the gods and goddesses and the sages and the saints and those other let me go this other way. So millions of gods and goddesses, further preferring millions of enlightened spirits. And this is a critical choice that a human being needs to make. To have a clear understanding of what needs to be done. Clearly the world, the way people have it set up, it doesn't work. This concept of consumerism, and that we're going to be consuming, and expanding economies and using up resources and spewing out greenhouse gases. Clearly this is not going to work indefinitely, but everybody's is going along with it, I guess, so they can make their bucks while they can, and to hell with the future. And some of you are old enough that maybe you won't get the wrath of what's coming. But some of you who are younger ones, you better transcend, so you can miss it. So having made this choice as a spiritual aspirant, this is a key choice. But sometimes we're not talking about something that necessarily happens, from one day to the next, or you're saying right here and now, I'm making this choice. It doesn't work that way for the most part, because you have certain RE that needs to be worked on, and certain periods that need to be worked on, so you can have full clarity. You can make a conscious decision. What I'm saying is that you may not be able to uphold that because your will is not strong enough. But intellectually, you can certainly listen to my arguments and agree with them and say, yes, this is true, what is being said. And you can bow and work towards it. And dabbling and studying and reading and attending classes. And eventually you become wholeheartedly on this side of things, as opposed to this side of things. At some point, you'll be able to make the final push and be on the other side of the road, as it were. And here, at the end of this sentence, I could have put it on the other line, but I have it here. This is important. This is a negation symbol. The two arms going out, and the end symbol below it. An means not. An ansat pet mira ariger ta neperka. So if I'm going to turn away from the worldly people, and I'm going to turn towards the spiritual people and towards the gods and goddesses, is it also not possible, is there also a way to, is there not a bad way for me to become Lady of Heaven and Earth, like Ra? She was already Lady of the Earth. She's already had attained high conscious as a human being. She attained all the knowledge. She was the top of humanity, as it were. But she's saying, is it not also possible that I can become a Lady of Heaven also, as well as a Lady of the Earth? So I can attain both heights. The way Ra is. And here, is it not possible through a not bad way? Meaning, and here is the symbol of An again, the negation again, and here it's like a swallow. It's like a bird that has a rounded feathers at the end. What do you call the back section. Tail, sorry. Tail feathers. It's a rounded tail feathers. The one that has flared tail feathers, and you'll probably see it later on, that means ur. It means great. It means greatness. This one means badness. So is it not possible to through a not bad means for Set lady to become heaven and earth like Ra? Doing or attaining the things of heaven and earth. Make throne. Here, Ari means to make. Ari as Ari and Heta, as your Ari of your actions. But Ari also means to make. Or it means to do actions or to make something, which is an action also. And nest or dirt means throne. Throne as in not the same as as throne. The throne means like a kingship throne, or becoming a queen, like the Queen of England, that kind of throne. To become a divinity, a meter, and a church. So it's not possible for me to become a goddess then like Ra on heaven and earth. Through turning away from the philosophy of the millions of men and women of the earth, the worldly people, turning towards the philosophy of gods and goddesses and the enlightened beings, to become a goddess of heaven and earth. So the goddess wants to regain her status, essentially, is what is going on here. She's come here as we have, as men and women, and she has come through this recognition, realizing that she wants to regain her status, that the world is insufficient, the world is illusory, and she wants to, while there's time, while there's life, while she has the interest and the gumption to do it, the will to do it, attain higher status in her existence. And this is something that every human being should attain to. But most human beings are caught up. They are distracted by the world, or caught up in the illusions of the world, the desires of the world. They're not able to have these kinds of reflections. Or if they're not caught up that way, they're caught up in some kind of a war zone, being distracted by their families, or the idea that they're going to have some wonderful life with lots of millions of dollars and lots of children and family and so on. And there are others who fulfill themselves by drugs, by escaping, others who fulfill themselves by seeking the adulation of other people. You know, a lot of people who are in Hollywood are like that. They're there because they need to be revered, or they need to be looked at, and they constantly need that because their personality is so weak and so immature that they cannot stand to not be loved by others, and not be looked at by others. Other people are so mature that they cannot be without a family. They cannot be alone. Some people, it's funny, like I always like to think of the Simpsons show, because they have a lot of little metaphors and little things that they give. And on one episode that they had acid rain because of pollution. And the acid rain melted the TV antenna. So when they realized that they didn't have a TV signal, they started screaming, need TV, need TV. And then he come around outside, and then he to see what's happening to the antenna, he got burned by the acid rain, saying, And then he comes back inside, realizes the TV is not on, runs outside, the people that can't take not having something to distract them constantly. They have to be always talking, they have to be always saying something, they can't be quiet, they can't be reflective. And that is a flaw in the personality, a weakness in the mind and the heart. People like that, you shouldn't waste your time trying to talk to them about any philosophy or any. Next line. Setem ab set erek len neter shepsi. Reflecting in heart hers by means of sacred name of God holy. So if I'm going to turn away from the philosophy of millions of people, the worldly people, and I'm going to turn towards the philosophy of gods and goddesses, and also the sages and saints, the enlightened beings, and exalted wise people of the world, in a not bad way, a way that does not hurt other people, a way that is righteous and true, that's going to lead me to truth. And this gives it coming back to this before we move forward, in a not bad way. There are many people who are trying to seek for spiritual enlightenment or for spiritual evolution. And there are very few who are doing it in a right way, in a not bad way, I should say. There are many people who follow Orthodox religion, and they're trying to elevate themselves at the same time as they're killing others who don't believe as they do. I would say that's not a not bad way. You don't believe what I say, so you go into hell, and I think of that in those terms, and all the ramifications of that. In a not bad way, not a bad way that there are people who go to extremes. I'm going to fast myself for 50 days. I'm going to attain enlightenment at the 51st day. I'm going to emaciate myself. I don't care about the body. I'm not going to work anymore. And their spouse said, "What the hell's going on here? You have children to take care of." Yeah. I think that's not a not bad way. So think of all the ramifications of that statement in a proper way, in a way that is conducive, a way that is balanced, a way that leads to truth. So if I'm going to follow that, the goddess says, or not the goddess, Aset says at this point, the woman Aset, then so I can become goddess again of heaven and earth. Reflecting on this, then what is the best way to do this? When we got to this place here, Center for New Beginnings, from Atlanta, there are different ways you can get here. Most of us got lost on the way here. Some came more straight, more direct ways. But we all got here. And so, the goddess is reflecting, can I do this by getting by means of the M again, the heart, the sacred name, the holy God name of Ra. Meaning that there are many ways to do what Aset is talking about here. Many ways to achieve knowledge, but she's talking about now we're talking about a direct way. We're talking about a highway, as opposed to going through the streets and through the mountain roads and all the curvy roads going different directions and getting sidetracked over here and eventually getting there. We're talking about a highway. Setem, reflecting. Ab, heart, reflecting in heart. Set, hers. Vek, knowledge. Ren, name. And then Neter, divine. And then Sheps, holy. Sheps, going back to what we see here again. Sheps, holy. Sheps. Of the divinity. Any questions on this slide so far? This is okay.
Say by second verse, where you say millions of gods and goddesses, which is the symbol there for millions?
Hehu. Hehu is a symbol of a man's kneeling with his arms outstretched, and it's also related to Shu, and that concept also the Shu kind of Shu posture that we do.
Okay. Isn't that same symbol eternity?
It's used as eternity. Yes, it means actually means a determined amount of time, and it means millions and millions. And it also has been used as as eternity, but more it means like a really indeterminate long time, and it means also millions. Okay. Now this term here, I wanted to highlight it. The Akushepsu. Ak it means shining spirit. And here, Sheps, there are two forms of the symbol here. Both are sitting, but when they have the flail, you know that it means someone who has practiced discipline on themselves, someone who has attained really royalty status through self-discipline and wisdom. You don't really need the two. Now you know that when Ra created heaven and earth, the gods became that heaven and earth, or the elements in that heaven and earth. And here Geb is laying down on the ground, and this is the Geb posture. This is the god Shu, who is in the head posture. And here you can also see implied that he's bringing life through the air, as well as for millions of years. He is separating heaven and earth for millions of years. And this is the goddess Nut, who extends from end to end across the earth. So from one horizon to the next, you see the sky. And what happens is that after this creation was done, Ra set about to course across the sky. And here he is in the east in the morning. Nut gave birth to him, to the sun disk, and then he sails over her back and around her head and around her face, and when he comes to her mouth, she eats him, and he then traverses through her body, and that is the netherworld. And he comes out, she gives birth to him again the next morning, and then he goes through the same cycle again. And this is the morning boat and the evening boat. Morning is Kepri, evening is Tenth.
Who's the divinity in the corner with the regular head? Is that Shu as well?
This is Shu as well, yes.
Shu as well. And what is his significance in that scene?
Well, Shu represents air as well as ether, space, but the lower space. The space between heaven and earth. The space that is between the earth here and the sky.
And so the Shu,
And then a Nut represents more of the concept of expansiveness, of infinity, of expansion.
so the Shu that is on the in the west, holding up the scroll, is that just what is his significance in this particular scene? Is it the same as the Shu that's separating the other Nut?
Well, it's not really a scroll. See, this particular image is not drawn to exact standard. This is one of the things you can pick up in Egypt by the Arab artists. But nevertheless, it's close enough, which is why I use it. This is a sail, so it's air, and he's the divinity of air. And here's the name Geb. So they're not drawn exactly the way, they're close, but they're not exactly. So, but it gives you a good understanding.
But, Bob, if I understand your question correctly, what you were getting at was, is there a difference between the Shu, as you noted, between Geb and Nut, and the Shu there, in a sense? For example, he has a different headdress on, a Shu in the right-hand corner.
Right. Well, this one here this is the headdress for the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, so he's acting as king here, and with bringing the air. And here he's acting as a separator of heaven and earth. Is that the question that we're asking?
I think that gets more explicit. What
Yeah,
you
because if the Shu in the corner is part of the scene,
Right.
what is his significance as Ra is about to end his cycle? Shu is beneath him, holding the symbol of air. I think I understand it's not exactly correctly put together.
But it's not exactly put together. It's not exactly drawn to the exact likeness. So some of the, you notice that some of the glyphs, they're more cursive, for lack of a better. So they're not exactly the same. So here he's bringing air, here he's doing separation.
Cults.
Ak and Ra Neb Emhat Smen Ti Ti He Ak and Ra Neb Emhat Nepedu Smen Ti He Geti Per Akti. There's a lot of compress in this statement. So now, the reason why I showed you the other slide is to give you an idea of, from a cosmological perspective, how Ra comes in across the sky and how it relates to the divinities in an iconographic sense. So now Ra is coming across the sky. He's coming across the sky in his three forms, Khepri, Ra, and Tem. Khepri in the morning, Khepra, and Ra in the afternoon, Tem in the evening. Coming in Ra, the chief of the sailors, divinities, establishing while person building two horizons. What this means here, first of all, Ra is the chief of the sailors of the boat of Ra. The gods and goddesses are referred to as sailors, as sailor divinities, or in a maritime kind of terminology sense. And he is making an establishment on two horizons while a person is doing something. Establishing, building two horizons. We're going to see what that is now. And here, in this, here gives you an idea of a possible pun. Ak, in terms of aku, or Latin meanings, as opposed to ak, as coming in. And here there's the phonetic relationship you can see in the ak pronunciation. But here we have a determinative, which is the legs, which are not spoken, and they're facing forwards. If you have the legs facing other ways, then you're going against, you're not coming in. But here Ra is coming in. Here the glyph of Ra, the sun disk, the circle with the dot in the middle. Here comes in Ra, and then it says Ra with the bowl here. It means Neb means head or chief or lord. And then the front part of the lion, that means hat. It means your chest and your heart region. You think of a lion that's recumbent on the ground, the front part. So it means the front of things. It means chief of things. Foremost is another. And then this symbol here looks like a hook. That's an S symbol. Men, we did that yesterday, which means established. It's men T. Establishing something. It means to. When you have S in front of a word, it means to cause something. So it means coming in with sailors, causing something to be built by a person in the horizon. And we'll see what that relates to.
Let me ask you about those 2 feet. So facing forward is to face to the left?
It depends on which direction the lines are going. Remember that we can read it from left to right or right to left.
Right.
So it depends on which, you follow what I'm saying? If you start from right to left,
It's facing forward. So to determine which way you read the glyph, you're looking at the way the symbols are facing, and they're facing left. Right?
they're facing left, so you read from left to right.
Oh, so those are going forward.
And if they're facing right, then you read from right to left. And then, so if it's facing away from where you're reading into, then it's opposite. Confusing. No, it's easy once you start looking at them. Once you start getting into them. Aud neteri setet nu nf dot f sati mu f. Old age, double divinity, choosing he mount his let out liquid at half month heat. Coming back here to go back, because this line goes off when the other one comes in. Here, Ra comes in as chief of the stellar divinities, establishing or causing something to be established, while there is a person and there is a building occurring on two horizons. in the state of old age, the double divinity, who is on the two horizons, but now he's on the west, of course, as Tem. And the personality is that was being referred to here also is related to a Set, who's doing some building. It's kind of a relationship to both. He's doing a building. He's building something in the west as he's leaving. He builds something in the east when he comes in, which is building the day. He's also building something in the west, which is a dissolution. Now he's in old age. And as the builder of the two horizons, he's a double divinity. He is also had Akuti. And Akuti means the two horizons. But now, in the form of the old age, he is drooling. He has his walking stick and he's an old man. And so he doesn't care, so he's letting some spittle fall out of his mouth and drip down. And that's what you saw here just now. No, it's half month. That is what the scripture says. This occurs this particular occurrence occurred at the half month time. Not that Ra only drops spittle at the half month time. That's on a daily basis, but when this occurred, the situation with Aset and everything happened at the half month time.
Are we talking about 13-month calendar month?
Well,
I'm just
it
basically.
doesn't specify which month of the year. It just says it happened at a half month time.
So I was saying, does that correlate with the phase of the moon?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It means like the latter part of the month.
Okay.
Right. And the important thing from this line is set up again, set up in new, and die C2 move F. He allowed the spittle to fall out of his mouth. Now you may ask the question of, well, when you know what happens later, you wonder why he will allow that to happen. And obviously, if he's allowing it to happen, it's because he wanted it to happen. And what ensues from this happening, he's okay with it in a deeper sense. So he moves on away, he goes on his way. And then Aset comes in. Because what happened, one part of the story that we're sort of skipping over is that Ra at some point, Aset had tried to pursue the name, but she was rebuffed. She was, pushed back, and Ra told her, no, that's not for you, and that it's not for anyone. It's a secret name, and then he talks about this is on part of the scripture that we're skipping. I'm giving you. He talks about also another section of how his name is hidden. And it was given to him by his parents, and they put it in him when they brought him into existence. But remember, now we said that Ra is self-created, right? But this is Ra speaking, and he says that his name is hidden and nobody can know his name, and all that kind of thing. So the Aset devised a plan to get the name from him. Sek Aset em Det Set Hena Ta Unet Ter. Make an end. Aset. With hand, hers. With earth. Opener, personality. What it means is that she is going to make an end to the situation, make an end to the hiddenness of the name. And she's going to work with her hands to use the earth to do something that will open the personality, and opening the personality of Ra. Set and Zet and Jedeth, Taki Shepsi, Adi and Set, and Ka. She built, she herself body his sacred serpent doing she form of. So she herself took a piece of the earth and with a piece of his body, which is the spittle, she created a sacred serpent. And not just a regular serpent, a taffy, or a shepsi serpent. Here's that symbol again, always the concept of the sheps. Sheps. You see the term recurring and recurring again. So with this, she makes a taffy shepsi. And she makes sure that the taffy shepsi has a form of a harpoon. Petiu, an, nemu, and mu, a, ze'an, ti, trek, fet, her. Petiu, it's harpoon, and here's the main symbol of a harpoon. And some of you may have seen or should have seen the symbol several times. So she's making this in a form M, setka, of a harpoon, so that not able move with alive while knowing person it. As long as a person comes in contact with this sacred serpent, they will not be able to move, they will not be able to get away from it, they will not be able to get away alive once the serpent has touched them, has bitten them. First of all, before we go forward, keys in this particular section. Work that the goddess is doing herself, or that the lady is doing herself with her hands. This means practical work that is being done with her body, with her hands. She's actually creating something. She's actually doing something. She wants to create something that will open up the personality of Ra, so that she can find out his name, because he doesn't want to give it up. And she wants to make something that will really work, that will be secure, and that something is a sacred serpent. Now she's a woman, and like an ordinary person like us. How are we going to, or how do you think she's going to create something like this, a sacred serpent that is going to bite and is going to be infallible and not leave you to get away alive once it touches you? How's she going to do that? How could she do that? How could we do that? Because we're as human as she was here.
She went to make some of the spittle of Ra.
Do we see any spittle of Ra around here?
No.
Some kind of
Spirit.
herb that may
Some kind of herb?
paralyze you or something. I mean, something in nature that can do that.
Okay, anybody else?
Meditation.
Okay, see, we're talking physical here.
Divine change.
And we're talking metaphysics now. I want you to bring that up so that we can start elevating our talk here. And in the
Say bye.
you want to change?
Yeah.
Okay, good.